Welcome back to the Mike and Andrew Show. I'm Andrew Sorwick here again with Mike Meredith. Mike, it's a nice Thursday evening, although probably not nice for you either, given the weather I'm having down here in Indy. But how you doing this evening, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, the weather could be better.
Amen to that, man. So today we don't got a whole lot. First, we got to talk a little bit of NHL news that cropped up yesterday. And then we're going to get into the top 10 linemen here coming into the draft. Offensive linemen here coming into the draft. But let's get into it first with the NHL stuff. Are the Coyotes going to move to Utah? It seems very, very likely that they could be moving to Salt Lake City. There could be an announcement to move to Salt Lake City by April 18th. So basically, this is exactly what would happen if this does indeed happen. So the league would pay $1 billion to Alex Morello, who's the current owner of the Arizona Coyotes. They would pay him $1 billion to to sell the team to the league, who will then sell the team to Ryan Smith, who is the owner of the Utah Jazz, for about somewhere between 1.2 and 1.3 billion dollars, and the owners of the league would then split the profit of that. Yes, this is basically legal money laundering. It is literally money laundering for all these owners. It is what it is, but yeah. Um, and basically, this came up is because there's concerns over the auction that Alex Morello is in to buy the land in northern Phoenix to get a season, and it's basically is will he win the auction? I mean, this is a big public auction, so there might be someone that says, hey, I want to buy this land, right?
Mhm.
So it's possible he doesn't even win it, but then again, if he does, they'd have to play at Arizona State's arena for another 3 years for him to build an arena, and he's willing to build an arena without taxpayer money. It's just a matter of how long, and for an NHL team to be playing a 4,000 seat arena for another 3 years, it's just not it's not feasible for the league or the team for that matter. Um, that said, uh, Gary Bettman has basically told um, Alex Morello that if this does go through, they'll give him a 5-year window to basically be able to bring the Coyotes back as an expansion franchise to the NHL, and that way it's more of a hey, you're doing us a solid, selling the team to help us, relocate it, and then we'll just bring you back as an expansion team. Um, the um, so I mean that would be great to see, and it's possible he wouldn't even have to pay the expansion fees to the league because he did the NHL a huge solid by doing this. Obviously, he wants to keep the team as much as he can because he just very recently purchased the team. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes of this for sure. That said, NHL told Ryan Smith renovations need to be made to the Delta Center to improve some sight lines. If that's going to be a permanent home for the team. However, Ryan Smith has said in the past that he is very willing to build a team arena with his own money in Salt Lake City because I mean he desperately wants a team. The mayor of Salt Lake City is very excited about this prospect of having a team come to Salt Lake City. So things are looking good for that on that end. It's not a done deal. The board of governors still has to approve everything, and they meet in June. And the only way this is going to be, really pushed along quicker is if Bettman goes to every single member of the board of governors and says, "Hey, you good with this? You good with this? You good with this?" and gets a quicker vote that way. the one negative thing about this is the players on the team they don't know what the hell's going on, and they're learning about all this stuff through social media, which is never what you want to do. And the fans are doing this too. They you know uh, they're finding out about all this through social media as well, and you kind of feel bad for everyone in that situation, especially employees as well for the arenas. You feel bad for those guys and those ladies that are working for the team. Um, but like I said, it's not a done deal yet. The problem is, or something that kind of might be putting the nail in the coffin here is both the Coyotes and the NHL have no comment on this. As Sarah Volley broke the news yesterday on Twitter, both the NHL and the Coyotes organization have no comment. Oh boy, that might be the nail in the coffin right there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. Like I said, we could see in 7 days from now an announcement, the move there, and it would just need to get approved by the board of governors then. But Mike, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, behind the scenes and all these owners and what Batman's gonna do. I don't know, man. It's gonna be crazy. Do you think that they end up moving?
I mean, I think it's possible. The way things have gone, I mean, if Mariuelo wins the bid on that land to build the arena, I think there's a very good chance that Arizona ends up staying. Again, they'd have to play another 3 years in in Mullet Arena, and while the players love it and the announcers love it because they're so close to the players, it's just not a feasible arena for an NHL team. And while it the attendance has been good at Mullet, um, it's such a small arena you can't really do it for such a long term. But if he wins that auction for the land, and I believe that ends in, I believe that auction's open until June. As of right now, we only know he's the only bidder. There could be other bidders though, and we don't know about it. But it all just really, I think, hinges on if he wins um, that auction for the land in North Phoenix. Because if he doesn't, then yeah, I think it's an immediate move to Salt Lake City, and Ryan Smith gets his way. And if it doesn't work out for Ryan Smith that way, he can get an expansion franchise because the NHL is definitely looking to still expand. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of this for sure, though, man.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what happens, and if they make a move, I mean, then does Arizona try and get another team, or what happens there later on?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the NHL is going to give him a 5 year window basically um, to get an expansion franchise back into the Phoenix area. Which if he does have to sell the team to the league so they can relocate it to Salt Lake City, it's a nice gesture from the NHL essentially, by giving him that. And I don't think that Arizona franchise would be the only one to be an expansion franchise. I think they'd expand to another 3 cities after that for sure. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But and obviously we'll keep an eye on everything that happens. And like I said, there could be an announcement by next Thursday. So we'll keep an eye on everything for sure. And if anything else pops up over this, we'll be sure to talk about it. But let's move on to the NFL now. Today we are doing top 10 offensive linemen for this year's draft. This is the best offensive line draft that we've had in at least 8 years. I would say that, you could go even further than that, go another 12 years ish, to say that this might be the best in 12 years. But there's some arguments you could definitely make for couple of those draft classes all those years ago. But let's get into it, Mike, with number 10 here from Oregon. He plays center and guard. It's Jackson Powers Johnson. Um, this guy is, I mean, he's a big boy. He's very, very strong. He's got very good footwork. Um, he's a little unpolished at times. He gets out of his stance at times. Um, but he can definitely do some very good things in NFL. I think a lot of teams obviously could very well craft him into a top level guard or center in this league. I like him a lot. I would not be mad at all if the Lions end up taking him. There's going to be a lot of offensive linemen taken in this first round, basically outside the top 10. They're gonna start dropping off the board left and right because everyone in that like middle range to late range of first round picks desperately needs some offensive linemen. So wherever he goes, I hope it's the Lions. Honestly, it's gonna be an interesting pick for sure for him.
Yeah, the Lions would be cool. Pairing him with Penei Sewell, another Oregon guy. So, um, yeah, I mean, Oregon usually produces some pretty good linemen, and like you say, he can play guard or tackle, so that makes him very versatile. You could basically put him anywhere on the line.
He could play center too, so I mean that's even
Yeah,
better.
anywhere. Yeah, anywhere on the line. That's such a commodity if you can do that because there's so many injuries. I feel like the line every year. There's always someone getting like their ankle twisted, stepping back, or something's always happening where the offensive line is hurt. So to be able to transition, move guys around, he's going to be a big help with that.
Yeah, I mean, think about it from like just the Lions' perspective, because I mean that's obviously the team we're most familiar with. I mean, obviously we have like Ragnow in at center, but he gets hurt quite often. So if you draft a guy like Powers Johnson who can snap the ball, you have a very solid backup there. And he could play every position. So yeah, I mean, just for the Lions alone, they already have a stacked offensive line. If someone goes down, you have someone behind them that is a starting talent that's basically your backup. So yeah, he can. I mean, this offensive line draft is going to be so good this year. But yeah, moving on to number 9 here from Arizona, you got Jordan Morgan. He plays guard and tackle. He's very athletic. For his size. He's a little bit on the weaker side for offensive linemen, but he's got some damn good footwork. Um, I feel like if the a scheme like a Jim Harbaugh scheme in L.A. for the Chargers, he would fit very very well there, especially if he's playing as a guard. I think he would fit in well there, although there's no way the Chargers are going to be able to take him. But, I like this kid a lot. He's big, strong, athletic. He's not one of the strongest, offensive linemen in this draft class, but, he definitely develops some more strength over time for sure.
Yeah, he definitely can. And again, I like what you brought up early. Again, guard or tackle, just being able to be versatile. He could, improve on some things, but I think that again, all these guys in the top 10 are going to be early picks in the draft. Like offensive line, like you said, is just going to be flying off the board. So when we get to these top guys, I mean, they're definitely going to be, far and away the best because they're probably a few of them are going to be top 10 picks, but there's still a lot of good linemen here down at like the 9 or 10 range in this class.
Yeah, there's some guys not even in this top 10 that you can make an argument to be in this top 10. That is how deep this offensive line really is in this class. But moving on to number 8 here, you got Kingsley Suamatia, tackle from BYU. They got him ranked a little bit higher up than I think really most people would here, but I think he's for sure a top 10 talent in terms of offensive line. Um, he's on the younger side, of course, which is very good. He was a five-star recruit coming in to school, so he's 6'5", 326 pounds. I mean, he's a big boy. Um, his footwork definitely needs some work, though. I think that's probably his biggest downfall. If he can really just work on that, I think he could become a very, very good pass protector in this league. I mean, you could look at game tape. At times, he's very good in pass pro, and then other times you just see his footwork and you're like, man, what are you doing? But he's a very good run blocker too, so that could be a big positive for a run heavy offense.
Yeah, that's gonna be key. Him being a part of that, a run heavy offense like that, and yeah, getting that footwork and being a little bit better in the pass protection is probably his weakest points. But again, uh, pretty solid. BYU kid. I feel like again, can't go wrong with any of these picks. I mean, line is so important. I think it's like one of the most underrated positions in football. Probably is the most underrated position in football because no one ever gives the line their credit except for actual fans. Like casuals do not respect the line at all. So I think that a lot of these guys have a lot of good talent that if put with the right team, they could be a starter in this league for many years.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how good this offensive line class is. Like I said, I mean, you could argue a lot of the guys outside of this top 10 could be in that top 10. I mean, it's that good. And you're absolutely right. I feel like offensive line is the most underappreciated, positions in the game. I mean, without them, no quarterback would be good and no running back would be good, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, a good offense starts with the offensive line, plain and simple. So, um, and a lot of teams need offensive lines. So, it wouldn't even surprise me that the Bears take an offensive lineman at 9. It would not surprise me. Um,
No.
moving on to number 7 from Oregon State, Talisi Fuaga. He played guard and tackle there at Oregon State. Um, he is very quick off the line. He's a very good run blocker. He kind of he makes mistakes when he's trying to make adjustments in pass pro. Um, but at the same time, he has more good plays than bad plays on in pass pro. And he kind of plays a weird style um, that a lot of defensive ends find frustrating when he's in pass pro. He kind of mirrors guys very, very well, but he has potential to be a top offensive lineman in this league because of the way he can run block and just his frustrating style of pass pro that he plays. I liked him. I mean, I was big on the Beavers train this year for college football, so I watched him a lot, and yeah, I think he could be a top tackle. I think he more grades out to be a tackle in this league than he does a guard. To be honest with you.
Yeah, he's kind of having more tackle potential here. Um, Oregon State, another one that's pretty solid. Yeah, he's got a lot of great potential, a lot of great aspects to his game. Hopefully, he can put it all together and solidify himself in that tackle position.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what teams do with him and where he goes as well, because I think that will play a critical role on how he develops in the NFL. Moving up to number 6 here, you got Graham Barton from Duke. He played all positions throughout his career. This year he played left tackle at Duke. Um, his size probably tells me he's going to move to a guard or a center. Um, just because of one how he plays, and then two just his size as well. Um, he's quick. He's got very good hand placement. He gave up very few penalties this year. Um, in terms of holding and things like that. So that's obviously a very important skill to have is hand placement. A lot of people don't talk about that when they're talking about offensive linemen. But holding penalties can win and lose you games sometimes, and we definitely know that as Lions fans. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's got very good hand placement. He's quick off the line, like I said. Um, he's got some power, but um, a lot of the top defensive tackles I think are going to give him some problems. So he's got to got to get a little bit stronger for sure. But the thing is that I think he brings to the table is he has just a very high floor, but not as high of a ceiling. So he'd be a great investment for any team. Because really all he has to work on is some just strength in both his legs and his arms, and I think he could be an elite level guard in this league.
Yeah, so that guy definitely going to be a lot of safer pick, like you said. Sort of a high floor, low ceiling type deal, correct?
Yeah, I mean, he has a higher ceiling than than a lot of other players in this class, but his floor is just a lot higher than pretty much almost everyone in this class.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I mean, again, someone pretty strong that can, uh, make waves for a line in this league and continue to, be that presence up front. Again, if a team wants a safe pick, I feel like that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. Moving up to number 5, and I think he should be higher in this class because of just how good he is. They have Amarius Mims, tackle from Georgia. Um,
Oh yeah.
he is incredible. I mean, he is 6'8", 340 pounds, and he can move. He's strong. Um, watching him pulling on a run play, it is frightening because he can move, and that's a big boy coming at you pretty goddamn fast. I'm surprised he's not higher up on this list. Um, but I think probably what's bringing him down is his medical history. He's gotten injured quite a few times, but man, I think the pros outweigh just that small little con for sure on him.
Yeah. When you said his name, man, I was like, yeah, man, definitely remember him. Elite uh, lineman at Georgia here, and but I understand the injury concern. I mean, that's always going to be case in draft stock. That happens in the NBA draft as well, where players just super talented, but just the injury history uh, brings them down. So yeah, that's probably the main reason. But if this guy can stay healthy, man, he could be a top three lineman in this class.
Yeah, I think he could go higher than a couple of these guys that are ahead of him. Moving up to number 4, we got Troy Fatanu from Washington. He played guard and tackle in college. Um, he could be a very good starter. At the bare minimum, he's going to be a very good starter in this league. Um, the problem is he's a little bit on the shorter side for a tackle, so he might get moved over to guard. But he's got very good arm length, so that's good. His footwork is very good. Hand placement is also one of the best in this class. It's just his size kind of bringing him down a little bit. Um, but yeah, he's very athletic. He's strong. It's just yeah, he's a little bit on the shorter side, so I think you probably see him move to a guard position.
Yeah, probably as well. Again, someone who did a lot of great work for Washington, even though there was plays where Michael Penix was running a lot. It always felt like, but his line was actually pretty solid. So um, I think that he has some good potential here as well. I'm waiting for the top two guys. I got a lot more to say on them. They're kind of the two guys that I've been following for most of this, but I know they're really solid offensive linemen.
Oh yeah, well, and we will get to them, but we got to get to number 3 here first, and that's J.C. Latham, tackle from Alabama. I love this description that they have in the article. Um, he is built like a globe with legs. He's 6'6", 342 pounds. Um,
That's a big
and
boy.
dude, I mean, he is. I think he might be the best run blocker in this class. I mean, he just bulldozes anyone he's blocking in the run game. He needs to work on his pass protection footwork a little bit, but it's not terrible. Um, he's got very good awareness to pick up blitzes and stuff coming around the edge. Um, he's a very strong dude. I think yeah he's gonna be a day one starter for any team. Um, he's I mean he's just a big boy, and he's just very dominant on the line, especially in the run game, and I really like him.
Yeah, Alabama. Again, they always seem to have hits or misses in the draft. Some players will be good and some won't. But they always seem to produce, at least a good amount of offensive line. And yeah, this guy's gonna dominate in the run game. I mean, he's just a huge body, man.
Yeah, a team like the Chargers would do great things with him because he's just that big and that good in the run game. And obviously, Jim Harbaugh loves to play smash mouth football. He'd be a great fit there, but there's no way that he's going there. I think obviously the Chargers are pretty much locked in on a wide receiver at this point because they definitely need help there, but they need help everywhere. So, but yeah, no, he wherever he goes, it's gonna be scary. How good that team's run game is gonna improve. Whoever drafts him could have like the worst run game ever, and all of a sudden they have one of the best because of him. He is just that dominant and physically imposing on everyone. So moving on to number 2 here. Can you want to take a guess who's at number 2?
So I'm just gonna say right now, I think that Joe Alt's the best tackle in the class or the best lineman in the class. So who we got?
Well, Joe Alt is at number 2 here
Ooh.
on this ranking, and I actually agree with you. I think Joe Alt is just as good, if not maybe slightly better than Fashanu. But let's get into Joe Alt here. Obviously, he was a former tight end, turned to tackle. Um, Incredible footwork. He's very fast. He almost never makes a mistake. He's just almost perfect in terms of offensive line. Um, from the first time he played tackle to now, his handwork and hand placement has been very good. He brings a lot of power to his blocks in the run game, but I think where he excels the most is pass protection. And I think that being a tight end definitely helped him with his footwork for that. Um, but man, he's gonna be good. He's got size. He's got excellent arm length. I mean, he has I think the longest reach out of any of these linemen in this class. Athletic as hell. I mean, dude. I mean, this dude is fantastic. I mean, I got nothing negative to say about him. He's just that good. Only thing negative I can think about him is that he played for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I actually don't mind Notre Dame as a college. Family and friends who are really big Notre Dame fans. So, but yeah, I think he's just got the tools of the next star tackle in this league. I mean, yeah, like you said, the reach, the strength, the size, he's got it all, man. I really like his game. Fashanu from Penn State did a lot of great things as well, but Joel Alt's my guy. I think he's going to be the best tackle in this class. I think when we look back, he's going to be the best guy.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised to see him go before Fashanu, but at the same time, I could obviously see Fashanu being the first offensive lineman taken too, because I mean, they're just that these two are in a class of their own, I think, in terms of offensive linemen. But let's talk about Fashanu. Obviously, tackle from Penn State. He's a big boy. He's physically
Hmm.
imposing. He's very, very good in pass protection too. But obviously, Penn State was a pretty run-heavy offense, and it showed. And he was a big reason why Penn State's run offense was that good. I mean, you think back to a lot of games like against Michigan and Iowa and Illinois, who have very, very good defensive lines, and he was able to hold his own against them, and for the most part, actually embarrass them at times. But you know, he's just that good. He he makes very, very good adjustments. His footwork, like I said, is very clean, very quick. Hand placement, very good. His awareness levels are off the charts. You know, he picks up blocks or blitzes very well. And as a run blocker, he's just gonna bulldoze you. He's physically imposing. He's got a ton of power. You know, I think even the elite defensive ends and defensive tackles in this league are going to have a lot of problems trying to get around him through his career.
Yeah, he's again just going to be solid. Again, really good upside with him as well. I'm not going to be shocked if he ends up being the best in this class. I personally like Joel a little bit better, but Rashawn Newman, he's going to be dominant. Again, probably someone who's going to do good both in the pass and run game. Did that at Penn State, so he's going to be a top 10 pick. Just a matter of what team decides to take the chance on him.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see where he goes, and same for Joe Alt. I mean, both these guys, that you could put them as a 1A and 1B in terms of just how good they are. Tons of good offensive linemen in this draft, though. I mean, like I said, there's 15, 16, 17 guys you could probably put in this top 10 list. I mean, it's just that deep in terms of offensive line. And considering a lot of needs for some other teams, you could see some of these guys slip back into that second round, and that would be huge for a lot of these teams that are getting quarterbacks, especially very early in the first round. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the draft with all these guys for sure.
Yeah, for real.
But that's gonna wrap it up for us tonight, guys. Tuesday, we're going to start hitting the defensive side of the ball. We'll probably start with the secondary. Not a whole lot of safeties in this class, so we're probably just going to end up doing a combined safety and corner sort of deal, and then go from there. Draft obviously coming up in a couple weeks, so we're going to keep talking about it. We're probably going to go through a mock draft at some point before the draft, and then we'll keep doing these position groups, these top tens, as we lead up in every single episode. NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs are right around the corner, so we'll definitely be talking about that as soon as both those regular seasons end as well. So next few episodes might be back to those hour plus long, just because of how much stuff we have to talk about over the next few weeks. But anyways, rate, review, subscribe, help us out. Let us know what you want to see. Keep sharing the podcast with your friends and family and people you don't even know. We're going to keep growing this thing. Thank you again so much for listening, and we will see you guys on Tuesday.